Hello everybody, thanks for joining in. This small video is about explaining you how to use the FIGMA design templates which we have for the Love Foundation, and then in addition I also want to quickly go over the designs which we already have, which are super nice and really exciting and creative, and give you some tips that everything what we do in the future will kind of be in the consistent brand identity of the Love Foundation. So thanks for joining in. And so when we look at the Love Foundation website, we see a lot of amazing posters and they're all super creative and nice. So thanks for all that. I think you're doing a really great job. Some posters I think are beautiful, but they don't fit the brand identity so much. And I just want to quickly go over them that you understand what I'm talking about. For example, this here, this first doesn't look like a Love Foundation poster, it's like a banner. So I think on our website it would be nice if we can only show the posters, because here we can show all our cool posters which we did, and that's our place, so let's make it nice. This poster here looks like it's a collaboration with some other artists or some other collective in Magdeburg, and yes, here we don't have the Love Foundation branding on it, which is a bit sad, because I think it's nice if we have the Love Foundation branding on it, but I understand if we're just a small contributor to a big event, we can't always have our own poster, but maybe we can still have our own poster. You know, it doesn't need to be super public or by the organizer, but at least we can show it on our website. So it's a nice picture here. You can still share it on social media. So this is one thing to consider for everybody. If we do collaborations, maybe we still have the time and freedom to do our own poster just for us, because it's a nice, remember, it's nicer than just having a poster from some other organization on it, on our website with our little logo in the corner. Yes, and I also want to show you about the design and layout. So the posters which we have, they consist from two different things. So first thing is always, let me find a good example here. Here, the big part of the poster is the illustration. That's the element where we have all the artistic freedom which we want. We can invite other designers, other artists. They can do whatever they want as long as it's a big illustration with the Love logo somehow interpreted. It can be like here, it can be like this, it can be like here or like here. Exactly. So that's one condition, to always have the logo in big. So that's one big part of the brand identity. The second big part of the identity is the typography. And the typography is rather boring and simple, but it's actually not boring and simple. It's minimalism and professional, and it's always at the bottom of the poster, left and right. We have kind of the dates, and it's nice if we always use the same font and the same layout and the same styling for this, because logo and this typography makes the identity of the Love Foundation. Let's say we don't have the logo anymore, but just another image. It's not Love Foundation anymore. And if we have a cool illustration but not this text at the bottom, then it's just too free and it can be anything. Then I think the combination of the typography and the logo really keeps all the different Love Foundation hubs and events together. So I really think that's something we have to focus on It's really not much. Another thing which I saw is that since some time I see that the dates and the infos, which always should be at the bottom, slowly is appearing at the top of the posters. And I really think that we should stick to having the font at the bottom, not like here at the top, because having this as the bottom gives the whole poster more base, It's like a foundation, like when you build a house, you want big things at the bottom and then build on top, like a tower. And that's exactly the idea here. It's like a design principle. So always make sure that we have the text at the bottom and then kind of the logo, and then you can still write something here maybe if you want, But I think it's good to have these three elements in place. Like this is the base structure, the big logo, text, and everything else can be free. I see that you also put in some DJ names, and I would not recommend to do it. I mean, if you want to do it, please do it, but I would not recommend to do it because you see already the logo gets smaller. We have kind of a conflict. We can't have such a big illustration anymore. And also, just time-wise, DJ names tend to change very last minute. So if you are the designer, you if after you do a lot of posters, you might get annoyed because you're on holiday and then you get a call, hey, we need to change one DJ because they can't come. And you think, now I have to change it on all the posters, and that's super annoying. And that's one reason why I don't do it anymore. And I think the other reason is we can still make an extra post or an extra poster, an extra illustration to advertise the DJ names. I just think it's nicer visually if the posters have a really big, cool illustration and the text, and everything else can be done extra. And I mean, it's obvious if you look at the Love Foundation design posters, like this one, like this one, like this one, they are all in one style. And then we look at this Kulturbrücke 2020, it doesn't fit visually. The same, this one doesn't fit visually, this one doesn't fit visually, this one doesn't fit, this one doesn't fit, even though this is I think this is just a Love Foundation event, but when you did it, you probably didn't know that we really want to use always our template. This one, they just don't fit. And even though they're beautiful, that's really not the point here. I mean, I don't want to attack anyone's artistic skills or something. I'm really only looking from the side of brand identity, and I think we should really stick to having a consistent brand identity over all the Love Foundation hubs and Love Foundation posters. And just some small details for the people who did the last recent posters, because I really like the posters and just want to give you some feedback about it. If you look at this poster here in the middle, let's see if I can open it here. I really like it. I just think it would be nicer if this font, which we see here, would be a font which we use, like the Teinhardt font, or a completely different font which doesn't look like the Teinhardt, but it's not. This font looks a bit like the default font from Apple or from Microsoft. So I think this is something which can be improved, and also that we have white on white. This is also something which should be avoided just for readability. Otherwise, I like the rainbow, I like the people, I like the colors, so it's all good. Here, I really like the illustration with the grain. I think it's super cool, really well done. I like the coordinate grid around. This is really well done. I think if you use the template as the starting point, you would have the right format of the poster. and also the text at the bottom feels a bit too high. You know, if you start with a template, you don't have those worries. You can still put the coordinate grid around it if you want. This was one thing which I wanted to say about this poster. And also the spectrum off. It's kind of taking away the power of this beautiful illustration. So I would not play with text here so much. I think that this is a spectrum. This is pretty clear. And if it's the name of the event, make it here, because we don't put the event's name on top. Yeah, I also saw that in some designs that people don't use the original love logo, but they build their own love logo from a font which they have on their computer. And I would recommend not to do this. Here, for example, now we have an error, but I'm talking about this image here, the blue one. I mean, it's a super cool diamond illustration. I like it a lot, but the LOVE really sadly is not the LOVE which we normally use. And I think that's a bit sad. If you use the template, you can just take this and play around with it. You can copy and paste the logo from the template into your Photoshop or Illustrator file if you want to play around with it. But please avoid building your own, because I spent a lot of time adjusting this, and yeah, it just doesn't look, it should look like this, but it doesn't. And I think it's a bit sad. If you want to do something completely crazy, like here, they're kind of morphing the L, or if you want to draw it by hand, you know, this is always welcome. Now I quickly want to show you how to use the Figma template, because when you use this Figma template, you don't have all those problems about how to deal with typography, where to place it. Everything is actually really straightforward. So you log into Figma, and when you do the design for the Love Foundation posters and events, you really should have access to Figma. So ask the responsible person for it. Then you log in, you go to templates, and now I show you how to create an event. So I right click on the event template, I duplicate it, I want to rename it Lion Love, and then I throw it into the events folder. And this is already good. Now we already have a lot done already. We don't edit the texts and the images in each of those files here. We have a control panel for it, which is here. Please download the font. This link is working, so when you download it, you get the Tynhard Medium and you get the Tynhard Regular. So download it, install it. And you need to use Figma as a desktop app on your computer and not online, because I think you cannot use the font when you're just using the online version of Figma. Now I show you how to make an event poster within 2 minutes. So it's gonna be called Lion Love. We're gonna call it Lion Love. And then we call it again Lion Love, because we have to type it double, and it's in Love Foundation Berlin. It's in the Techno Zoo. Here we also say it's in the Techno Zoo. And then the location, the event is 2031. So still some time. And what else? We don't want that crazy background here. So we click on this thing, and I can't click on it. That's because the layer is locked. I don't know why the layer is locked. So I unlock it, and then I click on it, and so I click on it, And here I can throw my image of a lion. Oops, I actually didn't want it as a background. As a background I wanted to have just a color. So let's just select the color, this color, because I wanted the lion to be in this thing here. So let's click on this thing, and here we're gonna throw our lion. Here it is. You see it's a bit squished, so you have to click here and press fill. And now we have a nice lion. Now we want the colors to match, and if you have a little, like as a small design tip, you take the colors from the image, because then your colors always fit. So I go on, I mark, I select the elements mask here. Then for example I select that red, and here I go to the pipette, and yeah, that's a nice color. And now I select all the green elements. I can also select everything here, but I can just select the color and say I want it to be, no, that brown. And that's it. Here we have the poster, Lion Love. Should write that in big. Here we go. See, all the typography is taken care of. I already took care of the distance and everything to when I made the template for you. So you don't really have to worry about anything. You just have the images for Instagram story and whatever you need. Now you can export it. So you select everything, press export, and that's it. Let's say you want to make your own illustration. Then you click on this empty thing, and here you see that we have a layer hidden. So we activate it, and here we have our poster. I mean, you can exchange the image with another image. You can totally do that. That's all good. Also, if you don't like the pink, that color here, you can also put the image of the lion in, you know, like here. That works. And then you could add another layer on it and make that layer, for example, transparent. Now, maybe you could even make this image blurry with the effect. Here we have effects. Let's see if that's working. Layer blur. Yeah, see? We have the blurry image, and it's all good. Also an option, you know. I think it's always nice to blur the background image, because if you don't, it looks like two elements are fighting too much with each other. So either have a blurred background image, or have a solid background image, or have something really crazy. Yeah, so I just go backwards until we have this. So this is the poster I like. One day we're gonna make a Lion Love event in 2031 in the Techno Zoo, and I hope to meet everybody there. So thanks a lot for watching. I hope this helped. Please don't forget to use the template. I think it really helps a lot. It makes life so much more easy, and when you use it, then we don't run into those issues which I told you here. Even though I really like the creativity, I think this poster is super nice and this one is super nice. The little details, I think that's funny, and so much nice work from everybody of you to create such cool designs. Let's try to keep it to the corporate identity, and everything is cool. So before I forget, I wanted to look into our Instagram accounts to give you a little bit of feedback. Let's do that quickly. I really like what you're doing here, Love Foundation Berlin. I'm really in love with this poster here. You did it really well. You used the basic typography and you made funny, cool kitsch illustration. Super well done. Also really well executed the other elements of the festival, of the event. So really well done. Really good. Here, in this case, I think the typography doesn't work so much. I'm happy you use the typography at the bottom, but like we use already here too many different font sizes and also different font weights, you know, like this here is a thin font weight and big and small and another thing. I think this is all too much. I think simplicity does it. Really try to stick to as little font sizes and font weights as possible. Believe me, everything will look much more better. I mean, this is really well done. So the design for the Nadav event was really cool. Even though I would have wished we would have had a little bit more of our corporate identity included, you know. Maybe the next time we can still use our boring minimalistic titles at the bottom and then have this other font to play around with. But I think it's really well executed, especially this image is super lovely, really well done. Thanks a lot. Here, Love Foundation Global. I wanted to show this example also in the podcasts. That should be at the bottom. It just looks better. It's more based. And here, white on white, there's a clash. I think if that would be a color or if the background would be a different color, it would work automatically way much better. Yes. Love Foundation Magdeburg. I really like your creativity with color, but watch out, Universal Love is white and not pink. It's a decision. And I also love the colored background, you know, nothing against watercolor backgrounds. I think the only thing is it really doesn't fit yet the design which we have. So let's try to keep it minimal. For example, you could have this text left aligned and not centered. And Universal Love, I mean, it's sweet that it goes around, you know, but it's not really the Love Foundation identity. Let's see if you can make it first a little bit more boring, because boring doesn't really mean boring. One other thing which I saw, sometimes people build the Love logo themselves like this, and always take care the Love logo is always half-half, you know, it's cutting in the half, and here it's kind of cutting here, and that makes it look like something else. So let's try to use the right dimensions of the logo. Yes, let's always try to stick to the identity as I talked about. Here, Love Foundation Dresden is doing some really cool designs for the swimming pool. I was super happy when I saw it. And I think here we can improve it. If you would put this design into the template, then you would have the right typography on it, and the poster would look so much more nice and consistent. So really well done with the creativity, but I think if you use the template, it can be even better. The same here, you see the font. Yeah, I think the template is not used. I have kind of a feeling about it. Like the font might be the right font, but it's too thin. So if you use the template, you don't have those problems anymore. And I like the tribal tattoo, cyber tattoo style. Super cool. I think we still should have the two circles more. Now I see the circles. They are blurry. I think it would have been better if the silver stuff would have been a circle as well, because I don't see circles. But I really like how it looks, like the look and feel. Super nice, super sweet, really well done, super cool. Just here you see, if you use the template, it would look better. And don't build the Love logos yourself. they're also in the template. What else? Love Foundation Amsterdam, that looks all good. Love Foundation Munich, yes, they are beautiful posts, but try to stick to the Love Foundation design principles. Don't make the font, don't play around too much to the font, even if you want, you know. I know we are designers, we want to express ourselves, but please don't do it in the font, do it in the extras. We have so much space to express ourselves with a video, with whatever, you know. You can do everything you want, but please don't do too much on the fonts. Really, with the fonts, the less you do, the better it is. Yeah, I think that's all good. I think that was it. Here, exactly here the same. We don't need an outline around the fonts. I'm personally not such a big fan from transparent backgrounds. You know, I think a solid background would have fitted better, but that's just my own personal opinion. When we use the template, sometimes we get like gaps. That's because the template sometimes is a little bit buggy. The gaps are not intended. You can move the text down so we don't have this big gap. Yeah, I mean, really try to stick to the Love Foundation minimalism of design. Always, I mean, there's the studio called Experimental Jet Set. Have a look at what they do. They do amazing stuff. And so if you study their work basically, then you see what I'm talking about. They do really cool, crazy designs, you know, but their typography is always in the grid. It's always in place. So having a minimal typography really doesn't mean having a boring design. On that note, thanks everybody for watching and have all a lovely day.